Okay, our final painting of the semester, we will be working through the steps of a painting using the ideas that we've talked about so far this semester and adding a couple more as we go. So the first step is for you to set up a still life, and so here I've set up a still life, and I want you to have at least 3 objects. I've got 5 here, you don't need this many, but at least 3 objects. And I want you to think a little bit about the types of objects that you put in. Again, as always, try to get something that's non-reflective. So not a ceramic cup that's got like a high gloss to it, or a piece of glass or something like that, but something that's, objects that are non-reflective. So again, so that you can see the light and shadow very easily. Think also about getting 3 or more objects, however many you use, that have something to do with one another so that they're not vastly different. So all the shapes here are fairly simple. They've got kind of rounded motifs to them that repeat, which is kind of nice in composing a group of objects. Right? So the next thing is I want you to limit the colors that you're using. So to choose your color scheme beforehand, so pick 3 colors from the primary and secondary color wheel and limit yourself to those 3 colors in the composition. So here I've chosen green, violet, and blue. And so everything that I'm going to be painting, ignore the sort of the orange board on the background. I'm just going to be limiting myself to this area where I see violet, green, and blue. Okay, and that's going to make it a little bit easier to unify your color composition by not having lots of very different colors. And again, as always, get a strong light source. So again, you can see very clearly the distribution of light and shade both on the objects and on the ground plane and on the background. Okay. And then, so each of these steps that we're going to be taking, I want you to take an image when your painting is at that step and save it, and so that you'll be sending me, I think, find out at the end, but I think 5 images altogether to show these different steps. So you're not going to be doing separate paintings for each one, but just stop when you reach the end of each step, take an image of it so that I can see your progress throughout the painting. So step 1 is doing a charcoal drawing. So here I've got step 1 completed. So what I've done is taken that still life and decided how I'm going to which part I'm going to use and how it's going to place itself on the picture plane. I want you to crop, move, kind of zoom in a little bit so that you're cropping part of the picture. And it's good to crop in 3 places. There's no rule about it, but it's just not nice not to crop in one place. So I've got this element cropped over here, this element cropped over here, and then the cast shadow over here is cropped. This cast shadow is cropped over here. So at least 3 croppings so that you don't have all of this kind of piled in the middle of your canvas, and then you've got just blank space around it. So try to zoom in a little bit, make the objects kind of large on the picture plane. So spend some time sort of getting both the proportions of the objects and the proportions of the spacing between the objects. And I'm going to post a related drawing video that might give you some ideas about how to make sure that you're getting things spaced correctly. The other thing that I'm doing here is I'm very simply, in a very flat way, mapping out the lights and the shadows, as you can see. So I don't want to go real heavy with the charcoal because I don't want to have to get it all off when I go to paint, but just sort of lightly putting in the shadow and try to be very clear at the stage about the boundaries. So very flat, not trying to create any sense of volume or anything that, but just in a flat graphic way map out the principal lights and shadows in my composition. Okay, so that's the end of stage 1.